everyone, and welcome back to English Cat. Today is day 3 of our English Listening Practice Challenge. In this episode, we're going to learn how to describe your family naturally in everyday English. I'm Emma, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, James. How are you doing today, James?
Hi, Emma, and hello to all our fantastic listeners out there. I am doing great, thank you. I am really excited about today's topic because talking about family is something we do all the time. When you meet someone new, making small talk about your family is one of the best ways to connect with people.
That is so true, James. Whether you are at a job interview, chatting with a new coworker, or making friends at a party, people will almost always ask you about your family. It is a universal topic. Every culture values family, so it is a wonderful bridge for conversation. But sometimes English learners use vocabulary that sounds a bit like a textbook. Today, we want to help you sound much more natural.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, I have a mother, a father, and a brother, we want to teach you how to paint a picture of your family. Before we dive into our personal stories, let's look at some essential vocabulary words that you will hear throughout this episode.
Great idea. Let's start with the basics. We have the word parents, which means your mother and father. Then we have siblings. This is a great word for intermediate learners. James, can you explain what a sibling is?
Of course! Siblings simply means your brothers and sisters. So if someone asks, do you have any siblings? They want to know if you have any brothers or sisters. It's much shorter than asking, do you have brothers or do you have sisters?
Yes, it saves a lot of time. Next, we have the word relatives. Relatives are all the people who are related to you by blood or marriage. This includes your aunts, uncles, grandparents, and cousins. Speaking of cousins, a cousin is the child of your aunt or uncle.
And don't forget about nephew and niece. A nephew is the son of your brother or sister, and a niece is the daughter of your brother or sister. These words can be tricky for learners, but they are very common when talking about extended family.
Definitely. All of these people are considered a family member. And finally, one of my favorite expressions, a close-knit family. When a family is close-knit, it means they have very strong relationships. They support each other and they spend a lot of time together. James, would you say you come from a close-knit family?
I definitely would, Emma. But we will get into those details in just a moment. Listeners, as you listen today, pay attention to how we use these words naturally. Let's move on to our next part and talk about our immediate families. Now, we are going to focus on our immediate family. Your immediate family includes your parents, your siblings, and if you are married, your spouse and children. Emma, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about your immediate family.
I'd love to. Well, I have 2 brothers. I don't have any sisters, so it was just me and my brothers growing up. I'm the youngest in my family, which means my brothers are both older than me. Being the youngest was sometimes fun, but they definitely teased me a lot when we were kids. What about you, James?
Oh, I can imagine. For me, it is the exact opposite. I am the oldest child in my family. I have one younger sister, so there are just 2 siblings in my family. My sister works as a teacher, and she lives quite close to my parents.
That's wonderful. Notice how James said, my sister works as a teacher. This is a very natural sentence pattern. Instead of just saying, my sister is a teacher, adding works as makes your English sound a bit more descriptive and fluent. James, do you and your sister see each other often?
We do. We are very close. We try to meet up at least once a week for coffee or dinner. Even though we are both busy with our adult lives, making time for each other is a priority.
We are very close is another perfect expression. It doesn't mean you live close to each other geographically, although you might. It means you have a deep emotional connection. You share secrets, you help each other, and you genuinely enjoy each other's company.
Exactly.
Now, let's look at another common pattern. When people ask about your family size, you can say, there are 4 of us in my family. This is much more natural than saying, my family has 4 people. Emma, how many people are in your immediate family?
Well, counting my parents and my 2 brothers, there are 5 of us in my family. Plus, my older brother is married, so now his wife is a family member too. And they actually just had a baby boy last year, so I am now an aunt. I have a beautiful little nephew.
Oh, congratulations! Being an aunt or an uncle is the best, isn't it? You get to play with them and then give them back to their parents.
It really is the best. He is learning to walk now, so he keeps everyone very busy. My parents are absolutely thrilled to be grandparents.
That sounds lovely. It's amazing how a family changes and grows over time. Now that we've introduced our immediate families, let's talk more about how we actually interact with our relatives.
In this third part of our episode, we are going to explore family relationships. It is one thing to list who is in your family, but it is much more interesting to talk about your relationships with them. James, how do you describe the way your family interacts?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we are a very close-knit family. One of the main reasons for this is that we get along well. To get along well with someone means that you have a friendly relationship and you don't argue very much. Of course, when my sister and I were children, we argued about toys and video games. But now that we are adults, we get along beautifully.
That is very common. Siblings often argue when they are young, but grow closer as they get older. I experienced the same thing with my 2 brothers. We used to fight over the TV remote control all the time. But nowadays, we spend time together by choice. We love going hiking on weekends or just watching movies together. Spend time together is a simple but incredibly important phrase. Native speakers use it constantly. You can spend time with your friends, your parents, or your siblings. Emma, what is something your family does to support each other during difficult times?
That is a great question. To support each other means to be there for someone when they are sad, stressed, or going through a hard situation. In my family, whenever someone has a big problem, we all gather at my parents' house. We talk things through, offer advice, or just listen. Knowing that you have people who love you unconditionally creates a very strong bond.
A strong bond is such a beautiful way to put it. A bond is a connection that holds things together. So when a family has a strong bond, nothing can easily break them apart.
Let's look at an example conversation that our listeners might have in real life. Imagine a friend asks you, "Are you close with your cousins?" How would you answer that, James?
I would say, yeah, I get along well with most of my cousins. We don't see each other every week because some of them live far away, but whenever we have a family reunion, we love to spend time together and catch up on our lives. We have a strong bond because we grew up together.
That is a perfect answer. It uses all the expressions we just discussed in a completely natural way. Listeners, try to think about your own relationships as we transition into our next topic, traditions and memories.
Welcome back to part 4. This is my favorite part of today's topic because family traditions and memories are what make every family unique. Every family has its own special habits, celebrations, and stories from the past. Emma, what is a traditional activity that your family loves to do?
Well, in my family, we have a major tradition around Sunday lunch. No matter how busy my brothers and I are, we always try to go to our parents' house every Sunday afternoon. My mom cooks a huge meal, and we sit at the table for hours just talking and laughing. It is a tradition that we have kept alive for over 10 years. That sounds incredible. Family meals are a classic tradition in many cultures. For my family, our biggest traditions happen during the holidays, like Christmas or New Year. We always bake cookies together on Christmas Eve. My dad usually burns the first batch of cookies, which has become a funny family memory that we laugh about every single year.
Oh, poor Dad. But you see, those little mistakes often become the best childhood memories. When we think back to our childhood, we remember the feelings of warmth and happiness. Talking about these memories is a great way to practice your past tense verbs in English.
Definitely. For example, you can use phrases like, when I was a child, we used to, or I remember when my family went on a trip to. These structures are perfect for storytelling. Emma, do you have a favorite childhood memory with your siblings?
I do. I remember when my brothers and I built a giant fort out of cardboard boxes in the living room. We stayed inside that fort all weekend, playing games and eating snacks. Our parents were so patient because the living room was a complete mess. But it is a memory that my brothers and I still talk about today.
That sounds like so much fun. It's those simple moments that truly matter. To our listeners, what about your family? Do you have special holidays that you celebrate together? Do you have a favorite childhood memory with a cousin, a grandparent, or a sibling?
Thinking about your own life is the best way to practice. It connects the English language directly to your heart and your personal experiences. Now, let's move into our final part, where we will review everything and test your listening skills.
We have made it to part 5. You are doing an amazing job sticking with us today. In this final section, we are going to review the key vocabulary and expressions we learned, and then we will have a short listening challenge. Emma, let's do a quick recap of the words.
Let's do it. We started with parents, mother and father, and siblings, brothers and sisters. Then we talked about your extended family, like relatives, cousins, nephews, and nieces.
We also learned descriptive phrases like being a close-knit family, having a strong bond, getting along well, spending time together, and supporting each other.
Now, for our listening challenge.
James and I are going to have a completely natural conversation about our families using these words. Listen carefully and see how many expressions you can identify. James, tell me, do you have a large extended family?
Not really, Emma. My immediate family is small, but I do have a few relatives on my dad's side. I have 2 uncles and 3 cousins. We aren't a massive group, but we are a very close-knit family. My cousins and I are around the same age, so we grew up like siblings. We get along well and always support each other when things get tough. What about your family?
My extended family is actually quite large. I have aunts and uncles on both sides, so I have over a dozen cousins. Because there are so many of us, it can be hard for every family member to meet up at the same time. However, we always make an effort to spend time together during major holidays. My niece and nephew love playing with all the younger cousins, and it creates a wonderful atmosphere. We definitely have a strong bond.
That sounds amazing, Emma. It sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of energy.
It really is. Now, dear listeners, it is your turn. We want to encourage you to practice describing your own family in English. Try using at least 3 of the vocabulary words or sentence patterns we taught you today. You can practice by speaking out loud in front of a mirror or by writing your description down in a journal.
Yes, please do practice. The more you use these phrases, the more natural they will feel the next time you have a conversation with a native English speaker. You can do it!
Thank you for listening to English Cat. Keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, keep speaking English every day. See you in day 4.
Bye-bye, everyone.